Hey guys, Magpie here, and today you're Birdwatching with Magpie. So, you may have heard of this game, like, I don't know, years ago, Fortnite. Finally coming out, I think, next month. Or this month. This month. So, Fortnite is this game that they teased way, way back. There have been some changes. Right now, it's kind of in like a buy-in beta, I think. Or I think it's invite beta, and you can buy to get in a little bit early on the open beta. So it's going to be a free-to-play game. So we know that there's those whole distinction between beta and release. Right, sometimes not really there. But so Fortnite is it's an interesting mix. So far we've seen a lot of in that you build a base, you run around this map, and you can gather components by destroying stuff, and then you use those base resources in order to build a base. A little bit of a mix of Orcs Must Die, in which you kind of set up little rat traps, rat mazes, to force your enemies through towards the objective where they run into a bunch of traps in the process. So tower defense, right, tower defense on one hand, but on the other hand, you kind of have this fairly semi-open map where you can run around and explore, and sometimes there's secondary objectives there, or there's different objectives there that leads up to that tower defense at the end. But they're adding this sort of sense of exploration to it as well. Like there's going to be, you can run around the world and actually find loot chests while you're also gathering the materials. And it looks like they're even adding aspects like challenge bonuses. So you go into a map and it's like, okay, if you complete this map in 2 days, then you get a bonus reward. What rewards, you may ask? So it looks like what they're doing here, and it's pretty interesting. So free to play, right? So there's going to be a little caveat, little hook of sorts. So what they're doing is that you will get gear, characters, and traps in various forms of quality in the form of cards. So you might find a chest, you open the chest, and you get these cards, and it's like a rifle card. It's this particular rifle, it's the Bushwhacker, blue rarity card, X damage, Y, Z, etc. stats. Now, on top of that, you can level up, I think, characters, weapons, and traps that you have, these cards of those things that you have, you can level them up. But then there's also going to be some elements in that there are temporary weapons, or weapons have durability. So that's another thing, is that there's going to be some form of durability to it as well. So not before, this game looked like just a tower defense game, but now, probably because they're going free to play, they're adding all these other elements too, which actually makes me a bit excited for it, because unlike your typical tower defense game, there's a lot to get. There's a lot to earn. There's a lot of little things to manage in it. I mean, there's a lot of loot. It looks like proper, Borderlands or Diablo-esque kind of, scoot and loot. But then you also have that whole tower defense thing at the end. And now we have, I'm not sure if they showcased them all before, but there's 4 characters. It looks like they might need a little bit of work. But off the top of my head, it's the ninja, who has better mobility and focuses on melee weapons. The soldier, who mostly ranged weapons, not a whole lot more on that, I think. Oh, grenades, right. Ranged weapons, grenades. And then you have the Outlander, which was this one seems like it's not quite complete. So the Outlander's supposed to be kind of the explorer of the group, whereas the other 2 are basically just kind of like close range combat, long range combat. The Outlander is supposed to be the person who goes out and loots stuff, and is the best one at doing that. And it seems like they have an ability for breaching doors and stuff, and then they have some sort of like turret that they can put down temporarily. But to me, it just seems really quickly done, really slapdash, kind of illy defined. Like, I just give it something. Here you go. And then the last one, they probably have a name for it in specific, but it's basically the builder. So of all the people that build stuff, these people build stuff the best. So they build it the fastest, they repair quicker, but they also have, I think, at least one ability that allows them to kind of charge forward and collect enemies. Like, they charge forward with a shield, and all the enemies that they hit end up getting piled onto the shield and then pushed. So that way, if you have a bunch of enemies on your wall, you can push them all off the wall. Between all the various classes, because that's the thing, it's like your character, your class, will be a card. So I'm not sure if you'll always really... So for instance, you may like playing the ninja, but then you get a really sweet blue Outlander card. So then you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to play as the Outlander. And so now you start playing as this other card, and oh, what do you know? You actually enjoyed the Outlander. You didn't know that before, now you do. So it's interesting because there's... before, Fortnite just kind of looked like a base build tower defense simulator, which looked interesting enough. But with all the little fiddly bits that they're adding to the game and all the potential progression and like stuff you can unlock, yeah, there is a chance there for pay to win kind of stuff-ish. I mean, so one thing that they have shown is that they're going to have these little llama pinatas, and you can buy them and they give you cards. So right there, yeah, I mean, it's not really pay to win because for the most part, the game is cooperative. You have, I think, 4-player teams that you go into the maps and you complete these objectives, and it seems relatively free form. I mean, yes, in the end, I think ultimately you end the map with a big finale of defending a base, but the rest of it, all the stuff you're doing throughout the map, I don't think you have to build stuff. You're just, kind of running around doing your thing. Looting and completing those secondary objectives, or then even like little bonus objectives. Like one thing we saw was that there's like, whack the evil dwarf midget thing. So speaking of said things to whack, so the enemies in the game, I have to say, a little reminded of Plants vs. Zombies. So, I mean, the design was there a little while ago, though now that they seem to have actually gone a little bit even more in that direction of goofy zombies. So it's like, we'll see. And then they have these kind of nightmarish creatures that come from the storm, which is totally not the melding from Firefall. But, yeah, overall, the game looks pretty interesting. The enemies are kind of uninspired, maybe, I guess. But it looks pretty fun. It's an interesting, this whole free-to-play, what that's brought in addition to what the game was before. And just really a sort of real focus, I guess, improvements, distillation of the game that existed there to begin with, of that tower defense, and then adding more onto it. So it looks pretty good. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But, hey, man, sooner than later, you're actually going to be able to play it. So I'm pretty sure this is out on July 25th or the 21st if you pre-order. But, yeah, it's worth taking a look. Tower defense and a little exploration, kind of, man, I hate to say it, but Minecraft, I guess? Plus Orcs Must Die. Interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. We'll see. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe.